from last year's grand final.
The theme is redemption. It's a different BDS look, but you still got the same core of Monkey Moon and Seiko side by side. How fitting it is as we kick things off. And Seiko, who was a menace in the World's final last year, almost snuck one through in the first 5 seconds.
Going to be up to G2 to really dictate the pace here early. You're seeing Chicago get some demos in the back end, but it's an open lane. Seiko almost had a free goal. It's good on Atomic to be able to drop there back in time, but he's got 0 boost. Still though, it's a good touch there to be able to get this ball out. BDS is trying to defend their title. G2 have been waiting a year for this moment.
Last year's World Final, Monkey Moon and Seiko each with 3 goals and 4 assists. That sails a little bit high. Monkey Moon forced to play defense. That drops down in front, but Rise will have it. And more importantly, out towards midfield and cleanly through from Monkey Moon as JNaps has to ascend. We mentioned it, or they mentioned it very briefly at the desk, guys. You got the top offense against one of the better defenses. But how does G2, who has shut down a few teams in this main event so far, how do they contend with the juggernaut offense of BDS?
It's about utilizing the space. Biggest thing here that BDS has given up for a lot of teams is giving them chances to move the ball around. G2 have to be aware of it. Seiko, he's moving downfield trying to make JNaps uncomfortable. Good on Chicago to be able to intercept that play. And Atomic matching up with Monkey Moon. Who's going to be faster here on the field? It's been a tight game 1.
Seiko will delay, and that's not going to work out at all. G2 all over them. Rise will doink that past JNaps. And so it's Atomic right back towards the backboard. Monkey Moon over to Rise, and very quickly down to the corner, and well read by JNaps. It was so weird hearing last year all the rumors for some reason or another about the World Championship being JNaps last, as this goes harmlessly through the box and out of the zone. He is back with a vengeance and more motivated than ever before.
G2 able to bring out 2 from Team BDS. Rise in the back, gets beat out. Atomic looking for the light touch to set things up. Monkey Moon was in a very awkward spot, just fresh off the rotate back, and still able to get a nice touch to there. But still, BDS don't look set. G2 able to recover and try the press once again. These long clears are going to be essential to how G2 able to keep up the offensive press as BDS try to send it downfield. They were looking for Rise off the back wall, but he has to retreat.
Oh, Seiko got a second touch there, and Atomic's not going to catch up to it. It's set up by Seiko, finished by Rise. BDS leads at halftime.
And Chicago just recovering, had to get up quick. It was an awkward position to be in, and Rise at the right spot at the right time. BDS with the first goal halfway through game 1.
So it's G2 that blinks first. And they find themselves looking up the hill, but they've been fighting an uphill battle ever since they got here, having to go through the wild card to secure their spot in this main event. Shot it initially wide out of Rise. There's Monkey Moon, picked his spot, but Chicago was there waiting for it.
Have to be very careful how you move the field if you're G2. BDS counterattacks positions have been very strong. They made G2 look uncomfortable. Here's Seiko on the ball now. Gets a 50, throws JNaps out the play, so Chicago has to go. JNaps a little slow, but still does get a good 50 against Monkey Moon. Strong clear over Rise as well, and BDS put into a tight position. G2 trying to make the most out of this. Chicago took the boost, tried to move upfield, but possession was given to BDS, and they take it the other way.
JNaps with Atomic running free downfield, but that leaves Chicago all alone. And he's in a real awkward spot, but he got around Monkey Moon. Atomic waiting for a midfield pass. It's not going to get there. So here goes Rise now, trying to steer this back towards the center. And instead it goes off to the corner, where Seiko will continue the play, only temporarily. Atomic now looking for an equalizer. Rise is in the way. JNaps in Chicago all the way back. Who will it be? It's Reed, who does not get around Rise. That forces JNaps into action. It wasn't the cleanest clear, and Team BDS could keep this alive only for another moment, as finally they repel another BDS attack. Now looking for one of their own. They got Rise up in the air and they bumped him, but still Monkey Moon clears the zone.
Good speed from Chicago. Atomic able to get a demo here also. He's waiting midfield, but ball can't get to him. Now JNaps has to control this properly. Final minute here for G2. They've only got 3 shots to their name. Other side, 5 on this side is BDS. 40 seconds to go. Chicago wants to get control of this. You see Seiko waiting patiently. tried to intercept the pass, but Atomic, nice touch out. They're playing this in the corner. It ricochets across. Chicago wants to get this one to J-Naps, but it's just so hard to get past BDS when they're set net like this.
Important for Seiko to just take a little extra time and possess that ball. It's taken away by G2, and Atomic can't do anything with this ball from Seiko, so Rise forced to jump from a stationary position. So J-Naps to work with 10 seconds, got it down in front. This is G2's best chance. They've got to prevent this from leaving the zone. Atomic does. Can he keep it in the air? No, he cannot. Team BDS get one strike out of Rise, his 9th of the main event, and a 1-0 series lead.
Calm start here on the side of BDS. Again, they get that first goal, making G2 very uncomfortable in the back end, and that was all they needed. You can see G2 trying to create their approach, but just running into a wall. Sometimes even just the back wall there. Plenty of times with BDS set waiting for that, and again, their transitions were super solid. I expect this one to be just as tight as the series continues on, just knowing how close these teams have been playing throughout the tournament. J-Naps, though, not able to get too much going. Only 2 shots from him, and I feel like him warming up and him being able to put really solid shots on net is going to be a big key factor here.
I said Chicago had to have a big game, at least had to have a solid game. You saw him get beat there on that setup by Seiko. He continues his impressive run at this World Championship as well. 73, almost 74% goal participation for Seiko, who is once again making a strong case for MVP.
He is. I mean, he's been having a great tournament. It's similar to how he looked last year, as we talked about earlier on the desk. Could be a threat as the tournament continues on. Team BDS strong favorites here to be able to go into the grand finals, but again, they're playing in the quarters here. They've got a long journey, and it starts step by step, game by game. Here we go. Forbidden Temple is the stage. Game 2 underway.
Monkey Moon and Seiko again begin the game side by side, and again, it's an early shot, this time out of G2. Atomic could not convert, so Chicago will try his luck. Got it to J-Naps, double tap, denied by Rise. So it was BDS in game 1. G2 gets the opening look of the second game. Will the end result be any different with BDS leading the series?
Atomic here, trying to get that control. No, Chicago, though, comes up strong 50. Chicago had said it himself. He's waited a year to get to this moment. It's time to show up here. BDS have already applied the pressure. But a fair 5 minutes on the clock, and G2 totally have the offense here to be able to turn it around. So far, things drastically different from game 1. 4 shots in the opening minute for G2.
Rise will stay with this play and got over Chicago, but that was well defended by G2 collectively. It's J-Naps past 1, and they'll just dump that into the corner. Little dump and chase strategy, but Chicago had to peel back, so Atomic just lets it come in, bounce away, and then Chicago can start the counterattack. Problem is for G2, the counterattack hasn't had a whole lot of teeth to it. They've been able to get around the midfield line, and then that's when it kind of falls apart. Let's see what Chicago does, coming around the boards. Nobody else in front, as he was at least able to get that central, but somebody's got to be there.
Exactly. You need that follow-up person. Sometimes it might just be G2 having to take a risk here at some point. BDS is super solid in the rotation. If they can't get them out that back end, they may have to try to send the house. We'll see how things go. But for now, they're doing really good on just keeping up pressure. BDS have not put a shot on net yet this game.
Oh, that pinball's around in front, but Seiko very calmly guides that around Atomic. J-Naps will lob it back in. Everybody will get boosted up, and there is plenty to use on either side. That demolition could be helpful. 4 boosts stolen out by G2. Seiko just ahead of J-Naps. And a good challenge will keep that neutral and pitch it downfield. Team BDS continue to frustrate G2 in the early stages of this series.
BDS playing a consistent game, not necessarily too worried. Out of 5 shots, there's been 4 saves from BDS. They've been able to match it, and they know how to handle this type of offensive pressure. It's just about breaking out and utilizing their opportunities. Rise with the ball on the hook, gets it sent away. And here's Chicago with pressure. Monkey Moon ends up getting the block out. G2 trying to move upfield. Here's J-Naps getting the bump on Seiko. That one goes off the back wall, but it's good on Rise to be able to recognize that and get involved.
Well, Rise got nudged away, so Monkey Moon had to come up. He was a little too far back. Opportunity here for G2 with things breaking down. Powerful clear from Atomic that he can chase down himself. And he got a piece of that as well. It's still going netward, and Monkey Moon pinches it away using the post as well. Seiko for Rise, nothing doing there, and he just got a piece of that. That keeps the attack alive for BDS, only for a moment. Here comes G2 again, and Chicago. It feels like G2 is gonna have to score kind of one of those awkward goals to get into this series.
It feels like it. Anytime they use mechanics, BDS has just been there to really just deny, send things away. G2 trying to be a little bit creative. JNAP's on the ground, thought he could get a flick over Seiko, but was denied. BDS keeping things deadlocked. They still only have one shot this game, but you honestly couldn't tell from the way they've been keeping G2 out of their own half.
8 goals each out of JNAPs in Chicago in the main event. That one nearly snuck through. Now it's JNAPs with Atomic being screened off the play by Rise. Now it's Seiko's shot, and Rise got a piece of that as well as he was falling. Team BDS trying to fool G2 on their way downfield, and that powerful clearance from JNAP says all you need to hear about what they thought of that attack. Seiko around 1 and around 2. Seiko with an assist in game 1 and maybe the game winner in game 2.
His second shot of the game, and BDS's second shot of the game. Plays it low, caught JNAP's jumping, and made him pay the price. Now G2 under pressure, 1:03 to go, and they have to try to get something on the board. No goals out of 9 shots is looking really hard for G2 to get some offense here. Even that one blocked away.
Well timed by Rise as well. They could get the second touch and the dunk, but now it falls to Monkey Moon, and his shot saved away by Atomic. Second touch to get by Rise. Seiko was going back. He's looking for boost. He's got absolutely none. Runs into Monkey Moon on his way back. G2 could capitalize here if they had anybody forward, but instead Monkey Moon, who grabbed that boost, able to get downfield and nearly scores through the defense. Atomic off for boost in the corner. That leaves JNAPs all alone. I mean, at some point you've got to go get boost, but that was incredibly dangerous out of G2.
And you're seeing what G2 are trying to do. Move the ball in the air. The problem is BDS is so ready. Rise in the midfield may stop after stop, just slowing down the offense. Chance here for Atomic to get the drop down. Final 10 seconds remain. Ball cleared out to JNAPs. BDS. No! Oh my goodness, what a block from Seiko. Chicago put everything behind it. Atomic made it down! Top, bottom left corner. It's a tied-up game.
Just something had to give with 1 second left. BDS did everything right except at the end. Seiko could not get back to it, and we are almost certainly headed for overtime.
Game 2 overtime. You said it, Stacks. G2 needed one of those kind of goals. Well, they got it. Now can they get the momentum going?
Oh, they had to work so hard to draw out the BDS defense, though. BDS, as great as they've been offensively, they're playing at a different level until now. That ball just handed to Atomic, and Monkey Moon's expression says it all. As Seiko just lost it, Monkey Moon could do nothing, and G2 steals one at Forbidden Temple.
Monkey Moon stunned. You could even see it on the clock. He didn't even bother attempting to go for that one. He knew that one was all in. Mental game going to be just as important as the game on the field here. As well done, especially from Atomic. He had most of the G2 offense, if not half of it. Out of the 14 shots, he had 7 of them. Of course, back-to-back goals. Big-time players make big-time plays, and this series is tied 1-1 apiece.
He almost certainly would have been the MVP a year ago if G2 had flipped the script on Team BDS as we look back at how Game 2 came to a close. Atomic tied it, and then Atomic won it with a gift. And that is how G2 gets back into this series. It was not pretty. It did not need to be. And now everybody can shake that game off. And we go on to Game 3. DFH Stadium awaits these teams in a 1-all tie.
About getting set up, comfortability, the biggest factor. We know the ability of every player here on the field. But it's about staying focused, staying locked in. Ryan's going to be a big X factor here. A new addition to this is going to be his first time against G2 as a BDS player. It's going to be also up to him to keep Monkey Moon and Seiko locked in. G2 looking to strike here.
And if you ask Rise, he'll tell you it's not really much of a responsibility at all. Remember, he was asking Boston about why he's the new guy on the team in the center seat. He just goes, it's just a seat, bro. Yeah.
Just chairs.
Well, Monkey Moon will set it up for Seiko. Rise coming on, but that probably should have been a little further away from the net if Rise was going to catch up to it. Here goes JNAP trying to block Monkey Moon's clearance attempt. And it goes all the way across, but Seiko's got it. He stole that corner boost from Rise, or it's his to take anyways. Now Monkey Moon and Rise, well, Rise not on the same page with anybody here at the moment. Atomic with JNAPs underneath. Atomic takes it, and it goes off of Monkey Moon and in! And BDS is imploding!
And Monkey Moon is showing frustration. Atomic able to set it up, and this time it has BDS scrambling back defensively, making errors. G2 up as game 3 gets started off.
Team BDS did not look like a team at all in that 30-second stretch. You had two racing for the same boost, going after the same ball. Monkey Moon was headed towards that midfield boost before being called off by Rise. And he's still trying to find some around the field, living off of pennies and having to shadow that play with Atomic leading the charge. Here goes Seiko. He's got Rise to his right. Rise just could not connect there, and Seiko gets bumped off the play, so JNABs can't follow it up either. Looked like he had it all squared up. Instead, G2 unable to clear initially. Atomic has it go around, and Seiko now, seems like both teams just trying to next level each other here.
Yeah, I mean, you got to think 2 steps ahead. I mean, we even saw when BDS was moving downfield, Chicago initially just tries to challenge early for JNABs, buying JNABs a little bit more time instead of him just being last back, anything to throw off the other team. Like you said, the mind game is going to be very important here, but so far G2 setting the pace, and we have to see how BDS play from behind.
So much familiarity between all 6 of these players. Couldn't really be a surprise that they're trying to go deep into the bag of tricks. Here goes Rise. Central, Monkey Moon was starting to creep up. That demolition will slow things down for BDS, but now it's Chicago. Lob over one, Rise is back, and Monkey Moon will take charge. Who else is gonna blink here? Will 1-0 be enough? It almost was for the first 2 games, but now Chicago going to work. He's got Atomic flanking to his left. Monkey Moon being tracked by Atomic, and that's a great job getting that over to Rise. They've got to get Rise more involved here and not compete with him for possession or resource.
Yeah, definitely so. The dangerous though on the side of G2. Here's Rise getting involved now, plays it off the back wall, forces 2 out. Is he gonna look for a bump? No, he has to rotate out. Seiko is put in a tough spot here, halfway through the game. BDS now feels like the tables have turned, at least offensively shooting-wise, as Chicago trying to line up a double. No, it's off the bar, and Monkey Moon will get the clearance.
Again, G2 getting better and better looks as the series goes on, but it's still in its infancy here. Midway through game 3. Seiko now doesn't have a lot to work with, but what he had was enough to at least keep that neutral. Monkey Moon now to challenge JNAPs. Chicago through traffic, and Seiko there for the final save.
Oh, Atomic, just that turn, not letting Seiko be able to get control of the ball, very important here. Seiko's been having an excellent tournament, and to be able to give him room to work could spell danger. Here's Rise, hits it past Atomic, but not center at all. Go to the other corner. Monkey Moon will get beat out by Chicago, and JNAPs will send it downfield, killing more time on the clock. Here's Atomic, good first touch, looking for the follow, but Rise is there to intercept.
Chicago was lurking as well. JNAPs was up a little far. Everybody resets, retreats, and almost getting the redirect was Chicago. Now JNAP, what can he do from the wing? Nothing. Again, shut down by BDS, but it's still a 1-0 lead for G2. Not for long, Monkey Moon coming in after the feed from Seiko, who sets up another beauty.
Look at that from Seiko. Monkey Moon with the speed. That's such a big goal for him, especially when you consider he had the accident where he ended up giving up a goal in game 2. You thought that maybe he was getting into his own head. This starts to reset things for Monkey Moon, and he can get things locked in and going here. Tied up game 3, it's anybody's ball game.
This series is anything but typical except for the scoreline. You expect there to be very little that separates BDS and G2. Chicago just getting that midfield boost, and he'll grab the back corner as well as it's cleared over towards Atomic, but intercepted by Rise. Final minute now of game 3. Overtime potentially again. After a goal with 1 second left by Atomic in game 2, turned this series on its head. There's Chicago lining up 2 and denied by Seiko.
Good save from Seiko. Also great shot from Chicago, but this one's still all tied up. Seiko with the carry. Almost tried to get the dunk. Good on Chicago to be there to clear it away after Atomic gets the block. Uh-oh, Chicago off the ceiling. Gets that one off the back wall. It's to Rise. JNAP's challenges early. Atomic last back. This one's going back and forth between these two in the final seconds.
Oh, Rise was chasing Atomic, but just could not catch him. Down to 20 seconds as Chicago sets up Atomic. Reed now from the side. He's going to go for the ground pinch. Got to bounce instead.
Whoa.
Rise almost put it in himself, and Seiko has to clear. BDS scrambling here in the final 10 seconds. Fortunate that JNAPs couldn't run into that one. 5 seconds remain as BDS continues to defend for their lives, and this is, well, 0 seconds. What else are we gonna see? Rise out of the corner when it looked like BDS was just hoping for overtime. Now surely they'll let this touch the ground, and we'll have sudden death in game 3.
Team BDS rather take this from kickoff, and we'll see how it affects them. JNAPs with a free ball. Seiko has to get up early. We'll try to carry this into the sidewall. G2 started to surge late. The BDS able to slow things down. Infield pass denied as Rise has to retreat. Seiko has to be careful off his own back wall. Gets the perfect touch, but Chicago was there and waiting. They are 2 steps ahead of each other, but something's got to give.
G2 fared all right in overtime throughout the season. They got the overtime winner in this series already. Rise right at Chicago. Generally a losing effort. Atomic, after that bump on Monkey Moon, slows things down for BDS. He's back into the play and trying to disrupt G2. Atomic will throw it up there. There's a bump from behind, and Monkey Moon has to come to the rescue. Another opportunity though, central and all the way across. JNAPs will shadow and retreat right into a demolition. Atomic just got back in time. Here's Rise for the win, and JNAPs saves the day off the respawn.
JNAP's trying to get to this one as quickly as possible. Team BDS #1 offense in the main event. G2 #2 defense in the main event. That's why this series has been as tight as it is. Chicago trying to get to this one. Gets a good follow-up touch, but Monkey Moon's there. He wants to get it to Rise. G2 trying to keep up the pressure. Gets sent way away. Chicago will have to try to control this. BDS kind of stuck in their own half as G2 was putting on the pressure in OT.
Crimson lights around the arena as everybody waits with bated breath to see who's going to take a 2-1 series lead. This goes all the way across for JNAPs. Monkey Moon is there as well. Naps to the backboard. Seiko had it red. Rise all the way by himself. He's not going to bring that central on his own, and that just kind of got away in a missed opportunity for BDS. They've missed quite a few opportunities. They haven't been as clean offensively as they've been throughout this event, averaging almost 3 goals a game, but they have not looked like it here. Monkey Moon will go to work now from his own back line. Got past one with the help of Seiko. Down in front and cleared away again.
Monkey Moon was trying to see if he could disrupt anybody on the G2 defense, but they were set. Even Seiko here, last back, 2 players on G2. Looking to see if they can get something on that 3rd man back, but so far, nothing. There's been a low amount of demos this game as well. 6-2 on BDS, 4 on G2. It just goes to show you how good these guys are at avoiding each other. Overtime still continuing on. It's G2 with the upper hand at the moment. Atomic will have this one for free. We'll see what he does.
Atomic taking charge, going after bodies as JNAP's shot is blocked away. And Chicago can't follow the play up, so Rise will. He may have his flip. He does! And it hit the crossbar! Another near miss here in overtime, and we keep playing on towards the end of the 3rd minute.
Chance here for G2 to pull on a counterattack. Good touch from Monkey Moon. Rise! Oh, great recovery, but Atomic still had a read on the ball. Seiko has Rise on the side. He's going to still boost from G2. But if they can't keep G2 on their own back end, it's all for naught. Chance here, Rise versus Chicago. Chicago there to intercept. Seiko almost was able to put a shot on, but it's good recoveries. G2 are matching everything BDS are throwing at him.
Second touch clever there from JNAPs to boom it further downfield. He tries to dump it back for Atomic. Chicago's starting to creep up as well. He's the last man, and he'll send it forward again. Right from the center line. JNAPs coming up. Atomic waiting, and Seiko with a good clear way over his head. There's a bump on the play, and still cleared away by G2. BDS are throwing everything they can at G2, and the Army is not cracking one bit.
Team BDS still increasing their shot pace, 13 to G2 7. But it hasn't been enough to break through. Who's gonna be the one to step up?
All right, this is exactly the kind of series that G2 wants to play with BDS. They've been able to run up the score, has BDS against just about everybody. But G2 keeping them close. waiting for one fatal strike. This is over Chicago. Atomic will have him downfield still. Chicago going after Monkey Moon at the last moment, could not get him. And Seiko at least had to respect that ball on its way through.
A little shaky though. BDS in a tough spot. You're seeing Monkey Moon get bumped. Seiko, though, great control on the ground. Has to get it past Chicago. There's the shot. Chicago able to get the save. Can Atomic stop Monkey Moon? He can. Seiko wants to keep this one in the orange half, but he may even have to go back as well. We are approaching the 5-minute mark, and nothing has changed. It's still 1-1. Can Monkey Moon end it with the double? Straight down. Seiko, no! It's blocked away!
J-Naps to the rescue again just to make sure there was no further attack. And now Chicago's giving this one right back to Rise. Can he get around Chicago? He sure can. And now it is Seiko diving into the corner. Monkey Moon to Rise for the win again and blocked again. Point blank range by Chicago.
5-minute mark. Chicago able to get that touch out. Here's BDS. Have everything going for him. G2 solo on boost. J-Naps just picked up some boost. He's trying to rotate and get into the right position. He's going to want to cut this play or at least force something. But Rise, free ball, double tap, bang!
I think everybody assumed that this was just going to be left for a follow-up. Probably all Atomic could do as Seiko was trying to sweep him out of the net from the side. But it's Rise who does it himself, sets it up, and breaks G2's hearts in Game 3 in a 2-1 series lead now for BDS.
Still formidable effort for G2, playing as close as they are with Team BDS, especially with how well BDS has looked this event. You can tell that they've prepared a game plan. As that one, we ended up playing so much Rocket League there. Like we said, an additional 5 minutes in overtime. And this could be the tone. But how do G2 handle going down in the series here? Let's take a look at our Mobile One high performance replay. Mistakes on both sides, but at the end of the day, BDS victorious here.
It's Rise with the overtime winner, but how great has Seiko been on both ends of the field? I mean, he's been, we mentioned earlier, putting together an MVP caliber performance. He's been all over the place. So too is that man, Monkey Moon, trying to go back to back with Seiko. As world champions, there was some frustration with the end of Game 2. All that has been brushed aside with a win in overtime in Game 3.
You can feel the pressure between these two, just knowing the history, but also knowing what everyone is capable of. G2 still looking composed and focused. They have to be. Chance here for BDS to put the series on match point. G2 have to make a stand. Utopia Coliseum, here's kickoff.
No timeout in between games there for G2. Content to hold it in their back pocket until match point. Could be coming a lot sooner than they think if they give up opportunities like that. BDS will not continue to miss them. Rise trying to steal the corner boost on his way through the corner. And Monkey Moon having to go all the way back for his own. He'll control this by himself. And the challenge goes just a little bit wide. Seiko now across to Monkey Moon. Rise is waiting underneath, and it's cleared by Chicago to J-Naps. Now Atomic with only one defeat, and Atomic just watches Seiko clear it away. This ball is never going to touch the ground the way these two squads are going.
They've been keeping this one in the air for a while. So tough for G2. They have to keep eyes on everyone. BDS going into this series tied in second for assists in the main event. Phenomenal work for BDS. Everybody getting involved, which means you have to watch out.
Good save by Rise. More importantly, didn't immediately give that ball away. It gave his teammates time to reset. And it's Monkey Moon who's been living in the skies. Doesn't have a lot to go for it right now, and the open net means J-Naps gets G2 on the board.
Demo in the back, you see Seiko, and then you don't. Taken out by Chicago, and all J-Naps has to do is put it on target and roll it in. We saw G2 strike first in Game 3, but it's about maintaining, as there's still plenty of Rocket League to go.
Well, they add another. J-Naps just couldn't get that cleanly on the cheat up, and now Rise from Seiko. Monkey Moon is up, and Monkey Moon hammers one through, and we're all tied up again.
You can't give Monkey Moon a setup like that and not expect him to put it in. Top left, block. He's not playing around.
The only remaining member from that BDS squad that scratched and clawed their way up into the big show out of the rival series and trying to defend a world championship in a season where nobody gave them a shot until Rise came in to save the day. Now it's Chicago out of the side. G2 looking to rewrite history. Atomic through the corner, and he at least got around Seiko. Got past Monkey Moon, but not enough forward progress, not enough momentum. Chicago blocked away from the play there, and this should be hammered away. It is, and nobody's back, but luckily for G2, shot was wide.
G2 very lucky there. Too far forward. They have to be careful not to overextend. Here's Monkey Moon with a chance. No, did not. You see how quickly J-Dubs got there. Oh, no! Monkey Moon's gonna try to see if he can make something happen, but they're not gonna be able to get anything from this. G2 got away with it. We're still a one-goal game. This is twice now that BDS has almost scored.
Oh, critical deflection there. Monkey Moon was about to set up another BDS goal. Now Rise, bouncer for himself, and it's blocked out again. Might have been high and wide anyways, as now Chicago. Delayed touch. JNAP, good challenge. They've got to get out of the zone though. They've been playing a lot of defense, which, okay, fine, but they're not used to conceding this many opportunities.
We haven't seen any real physicality inside of G2. Two demos from them, and also 2 shots as well. BDS with some control here. Seiko, Rise will pick up a demo. Just has to get it past Atomic. Gets it to Monkey Moon, get 50. Rise a little late, so we'll go into the G2 corner. Chicago will get the boost and get that ball back in midfield as BDS want to keep the pressure up. The G2 ain't there every step of the way.
What's so impressive about BDS is their high shooting percentage, because it kind of indicates their quality of opportunity. They're not just blindly throwing the ball at the net. When they do shoot, they've got a high percentage of scoring, but twice denied by G2, and Seiko has to retreat.
Atomic takes him out, but G2 know when there to stop Rise. He's got this one all the way downfield, and G2 will have to start again.
Both teams averaging in the 7-shot per game range, but G2 have been denied far more often. You wouldn't know it by watching this series. Rise will track this one. His shot right at Atomic. No follow-up out of his teammates. And who's going to take charge here? Seiko parked the bus, and Monkey Moon had a similar idea. That slowed them down. G2 still can't capitalize.
Even backwards, yeah, they couldn't make anything happen there. Flip reset from Monkey Moon. The dunk, no! Blocked out! Chicago will set this one at least to the midfield line. Atomic will get a clearance. Can G2 move upfield with the ball? Atomic will also take that corner boost, but it's Monkey Moon spearhead for BDS. JNAPS blocks it out. 30 seconds to go. Seiko shot! Bang! Seiko strikes! BDS take the lead!
What more is there to say? MVP. He does it again. Another clutch moment out of Seiko. All the question marks after they had struggled in the spring last year, and he turned it all around. He won over the doubters, and he's doing it all over again. Sometimes the great ones know how to save their best for last, and we're seeing a master class out of Seiko in the main event. Another save there in the final 10 seconds. Chicago turns on this. He doesn't have a lot of help. Monkey Moon will guide it out, guide it to ground. BDS on match point, and G2's got to take a timeout.
They've got to do something. They are one game away from having a repeat of last year's World Championship.
The only difference is it won't be on Wasteland.
That's true. That is true. But man, big win there for BDS, especially knowing just how much they put towards G2. It felt like they were kind of running into a wall there. G2's defense was stopping them every second of the way. But of course, take a look at the highlights. We know the result. Great shot from Monkey Moon. Seiko able to get a good shot as well to finish the job. Seeing desperation from G2. Their backs are against the wall. Their World Championship run is on the line.
Seiko has had a hand in every goal that I believe has tied or given the lead to BDS, except maybe one, as G2 does indeed take a timeout. And that man right there, one of the best in the world, Sathu, has to craft a plan for his squad to erase a 3-1 series deficit. What they could not do a year ago, now they've got to pull it off.
You see the lights in Düsseldorf as this series is coming down to potentially the end.
This is such an incredible sight. And a weekend where the sights and sounds have been unmatched by anything we've seen at an event of this caliber. G2 now faces a monumental task. They have to get 3 in a row from that man right there, who is surely not willing to relent.
Just hear the rumbling slowly. You can see the beauty of it all. Düsseldorf, absolutely incredible.
And a lot of anticipation building as well, because you know what's next. On either end of the arena, the drums are going to start banging maybe almost the second this one wraps up. But a lot of business here between the world champions and the runner-up from a year ago. On to the Oasis for Game 5. Will G2 change the script, or is it just a rerun of Fort Worth?
Here we go. Let's see G2 after the timeout. Has not really fared teams well when doing it down 3-1 in a series. G2 with a chance to change that and more if they can continue, if they can get on a run from here. But BDS, been there every step of the way. Here's Monkey Moon, not a lot of boost there. Seiko goes up. We've seen him finish the job plenty of times, but Atomic will make things just as harder. Good clearance from J-Nap. Seiko last back. Never mind. Gotta pause.
Why not? Just prolong the tension, prolong the suspense. And as soon as we can get back into game number 5, we will, and we'll let you know how much time will be off the clock. This is early enough that sometimes they just go right back to 5. No advantage on either side, except, of course, for the 3-1 series lead for Team BDS. This is looking eerily similar. They were talking on First Touch pre-show about how scarily similar things looked from last year, right? Seiko's got similar numbers, Atomic's got similar numbers. G2 only scored 5 goals in that series a year ago. They got, by my caster math, 4 right now. Only end up with 1 here on a losing effort. Could have a carbon copy of what happened last year. And I know G2 fans are probably sick about hearing about last year, but it's playing itself out on that stage again.
At this point, something has to change here. I will say G2 don't seem as nervous as they looked last year on stage. They seem definitely more composed, but it still feels like BDS are just that much better. They've been beating them to the ball a lot. They've been out shooting them, and as close as it has been, the tide has always been the same. Team BDS on the blue side has been in front. We'll see how things look, like you said, after the pause. Maybe this is a good time for G2.
That man's coming up next. The French prodigy has not lost an event since he's been eligible to play in the RLCS. But as this man has to turn things around for G2, we mentioned it earlier. I mean, of all the coaches that North America has, look, I think we've sent just about all of our best ones here to this event. And Sathu knows a thing or two about facing adversity, turning series around on that very stage. But it just seems almost impossible the way BDS is going. They've got this 3-headed attack, Daz, where everything seems to fall into place. where nobody stands out, right? I mean, yes, you've got Seiko, who's all over the place,
right,
but he scored twice. Rise has scored twice. Monkey Moon has scored twice. Just like a year ago when it was Monkey Moon and Seiko, 3 apiece. Extra stood out with 4 goals. There's just, nobody has a bad game on this side when it matters most.
You can even see it, they're feeling cool, confident, and collected at this point. They get the forced timeout. They're up 3-1 in the series. It's very, very rare for a team like BDS to stop it. We talked about it. The exact record is 0-18 in the series. Oh, wait. Wait. What you got? Oh, try again, buddy.
Didn't even let us see what it was.
I think it was a Venom decal.
Well, it was definitely a Venom decal, but
I mean, at that point, you don't need to see anything. We're good.
all right.
Maybe next time.
Get a hot shot decal, then we'll talk. All right.
Okay.
Looks like we are almost ready to go here with admin still just sorting things out here between BDS and G2. We've gotten word that we'll restart with a fresh 5 on the clock. Everybody's playing for that right there.
Legends aren't born, they're built. And Team BDS have a chance to build a dynasty. But it starts here. Can they finish the job against G2? Kickoff. We've got a fresh game 5, and we've got Seiko!
Yeah, well, that worked out. Demolition on the side, rise to Seiko. And G2 fans gotta be thinking, here we go again. It only took 6 seconds. Gotta turn it around here. Atomic cheating up and then gets demolished for his efforts. Rise just ahead of Naps. Chicago to the back wall, nobody's there. J-Naps looking for a midfield boost that was not there for him. Up ahead now, Atomic was too far forward. Chicago can't drop it downward. And Rise will just casually bring this through the corner, right through Atomic.
G2 have a clock on their season. It's up to them to see if they can bounce back and break through. Monkey Moon to Rise. Rise has the flip, uses it. Atomic there to shut things down. Monkey Moon able to dodge the demo. He's sitting at 60 boosts, well he was until he got demoed on the play. J-Naps looking for a follow-up 50, goes to Atomic. Atomic shot is in! And G2 equalize.
He's the man, and he has been for a very long time on this roster. When you need a clutch goal, go to Atomic. His 4th goal out of the 5 that G2 have in this series. But there's G2's 1. They're gonna need more if they're gonna keep this series rolling and avoid a repeat of last year's World Final. Rise almost got a double to go, and now Seiko will guide it to the side. Boost not there for him. Chicago calling his own number. Tried to get over to Atomic though, and it's just too far across.
BDS have been letting Atomic really get upfield. Here's a chance for him on the ball. Has the boost, gets a 50, and Seiko, a strong recovery. He's had a lot of recoveries over the course of this series from that back wall and able to bring it upfield. Rise, trying to get in front of Atomic. Atomic gets set, and it'll be him who wants to at least try to lead the charge. Seiko with a good catch. BDS cementing themselves on the orange half. Chance here for Monkey Moon, and J-Naps able to make the save.
BDS trying to squeeze the last of the life out of G2. Got them pinned in their own zone. Rise to the corner, Seiko coming up. Not a clean win for Chicago. Monkey Moon, can he dazzle again? No, it's swatted away. And Rise the only one back. He's got to be very careful, and that's a great job getting Chicago off the play.
A little awkward there. G2. Seiko, ball out. Good speed from Chicago. J-Naps is downfield. Can you read this? Leaves it. Chicago wanted to get a piece. Rise, though, had to catch up to the ball. He was moving way faster. Things seem stable as we approach the halfway mark. No side really showing too much of an advantage here. But things could change at a snap.
Chicago, who's been the X factor for most of this season, has not been involved much in the offense. Only 1 assist to his tally. And he's trying to play this on his way back, try to avoid Monkey Moon. Can he stay with the play? He sure can. Sets up J-Naps. Seiko's got to have it. No. And it just goes cleanly through Nobody diving in for G2, and another opportunity squandered.
Trying to play it safe, but you have to play to win, not to lose. There's a big difference between the two. G2 had a strong opportunity there. They let it go by the wayside. Chance here. Chicago blocked away by Rise. He's going to stay on top of the ball, but Reed carries it around for the time being until Monkey Moon snaps it away.
So weird to see this G2 team not pouncing on the opportunities afforded to them, sometimes given to them. You had the one in overtime in game 2 as Chicago blocks one out to the side with the help of Jane Apps. Atomic now whips on it, and nobody else to follow. Chicago happened to be there. Jane Apps gets a piece of this, falls to Atomic. He can bring it back across the center line. Where Jane Apps has lived in the air, the rest of G2 has just kind of lived at midfield. Very hesitant to dip their feet in the deep end here on the BDS side.
Hesitations could make or break things. Atomic, nice light touch. G2 stuck in the back end. Approaching the final minute. Ball in the midfield. Here's J-Naps to the sidewall, picks up the boost. Seiko picks up the ball. Seiko not gonna go for the flip reset, tried to get the dunk. A little bit of chaos on the side, and G2's in. Rise, not gonna be able to get there, and Monkey Moon saves the play.
A faster squad bringing it right back in. Seiko denied initially. Monkey Moon can't get through the corner. Atomic's just a little bit faster this time. J-Naps is there, looking for the lead, and he's got it! G2 in front!
Counterattack from G2 works out big. Atomic able to set a lane. Rise had no boost, and J-Naps perfectly places that one in. 37 seconds left. G2 just have to hold on if they want to force game 6.
That's going to be a long 30-plus seconds. Seiko has it from the kickoff, and instead just completely lost control. Monkey Moon and Rise are at the same ball at the same time. And this is what we saw out of BDS around, I think it was game 3. They still managed to win that game, but boy, they look completely out of sorts. Seiko now to the backboard. Monkey Moon bouncer is just deflected away. Chicago will bring it out of the zone only as far as Rise. Down to 5 seconds. The countdown going on. The fake from Rise!
The fake from Monkey Moon! Rise was under the ball, and he waited for the opportunity. Shot in! This one is still going on. 2 seconds remaining. We could be headed to overtime.
All that work, and G2 could only secure a near fall. Overtime at the Oasis to send BDS into the semifinals.
How much more do you want it? It's time to show it right now. Rise up quickly. Danger from G2 early off the kickoff as BDS trying to get things set up.
Chicago through the corner, taken away by Atomic to send downfield. Jane Apps coming on. Can he turn on it? No. Seiko will pop it away. Renewed energy here for G2, even though they've let that lead go by. Now Jane Apps has to let that go, and it's Rise to center. Nobody jumping up though for BDS.
Oh, a bit of a double commit. This could be a chance here for BDS. Net wide open, and it's done! History repeats itself! BDS still in the tournament, still trying to defend their title!
And who else had a hand in it but Seiko to set up Monkey Moon. The MVP does it again for BDS. He's just unstoppable. Proof positive, Daz, that you don't have to be the one scoring to be the most important man on the pitch.
Seiko has said it. He says he will defend his title, and he means it with 100%. BDS are here!
The end point nowhere in sight for this BDS run. Seiko continues to lead them. Monkey Moon gets the series clinching goal, but it was the man in the middle, Rise, that saved him in game 5 with the equalizer. And now he can look out and ponder what's next for BDS. They've got a semifinal coming up in just a little bit. They get a little bit of a break though, Daz, as the drums are starting to warm up a little bit here in Düsseldorf.
You know what's coming. We also know to watch out for these boys right here. What a showing from BDS. They look in form as every other team here in our semifinals.
As is so often the case at this stage, 4-1 doesn't tell the whole story. It was much closer than that scoreline indicates. Every single game was a one-goal game in the end. But it's Team BDS victorious, and Zuby and our translator Julian standing by with Monkey Moon.
G2 Esports are sent home packing, and they can't get that monkey off of their back as Team BDS get the victory. This was a rematch of last year's championship. Why can this team not beat you?
Alors c'est un rematch G2 BDS de la finale des Worlds de l'année dernière. Pourquoi est-ce que G2 ne peuvent pas vous battre et n'arrivent pas à vous battre?
Je pense juste qu'on est beaucoup trop fort pour eux. Je pense qu'on peut dire que les Européens sont meilleurs que les Américains.
I mean, we are just way better than them, and EU like owns NA.
I don't think there's any denying that here. Now, Monkey Moon, it's been 5 years since we've had back-to-back champions in Rocket League. How is this team gonna make it happen?
Alors ça fait 5 ans qu'on n'a pas eu de champion back-to-back sur Rocket League, champion du monde. Comment est-ce que vous allez réussir à faire pour faire le même exploit ici?
C'est une bonne question. Je pense que on va juste jouer comme nous on veut jouer. On va tout donner. Et puis plus que 2 BO7, ça peut aller vite pour le back-to-back.
So you know, we will play the way we want to play. We will do our best. And I mean, there are only 2 BO7 left. So I mean, it's going to go quick, and we are ready for the back-to-back.
Now, you've had such a great career already up to this point. But what, at the end of the day, what do you want people to say when they hear the name Monkey Moon?
Alors, tu as eu une grande carrière jusqu'à maintenant. Qu'est-ce que tu aimerais finalement que les gens retiennent quand on pense au nom Monkey Moon sur Rocket League?
On pense à Monkey Moon? Oula. Tu peux répéter pour être sûr?
En gros, qu'est-ce que tu aimerais que finalement les gens y pensent quand ils pensent à ton pseudo, à Monkey Moon sur Rocket League? Qu'est-ce que ça leur inspire?
Je pense que les gens continuent à me supporter. Je sais qu'il y a des fans BDS ici. Merci d'être là. Et puis... Non, que les gens continuent à me supporter. Et puis ils vont retenir mon nom pendant encore longtemps.
I just want people to keep supporting me. I know there are some BDS fans in the room right now, so yeah, I want people to support me, and I want people to remind my name for a long time.
I think people will remember you for a while. And I think he has a message for the blue wall up there. Monkey Moon, what would you like to say to those fans up there?
Qu'est-ce que tu aimerais dire aux fans du Blue Wall?
J'ai rien à dire. Bon, on les a battus 4-1.
I mean, I have nothing much to say. We beat them 4-1, so...
Not much more needs to be said as it's all done up on the field.
The reigning world champs continue their run to try and go back-to-back. North America has made